All right, here we go. I'm Jill Blanchette with Green Thumb Stampers, and I've got the Home for the Holidays paper pumpkin kit for October of 2023. I'm going to show you my alternate ideas. We're going to start with this first one here. It's a sidestep card. Stand up like that. We're going to use a 5.5 by 5.5 by 8.5 sheet of Misty Moonlight cardstock. We'll use one of the cards from the kit, one of these overlays, and then one pine tree, the one with the star on the top. So first we're going to take our Misty Moonlight, and we need to score it up to the 3-inch mark. So we're going to score it at 1, and we're just going to go up to here at the 3-inch mark. Make sure you're using your score blade, not your cutter. Then we're going to score it 2 up to 3 inches. We're going to score at 3 1/4 up to 3 inches. 4 1/2. Yep, up to 3 inches. 6 1/2. Oops, got to put the arm out for our great trimmer that goes up to 17 inches. 6 1/2. Am I still on the screen? Up to 3 inches. Oops, I might have went a little bit past. Okay, got all our scoring done for there. We're going to flip it over or turn it the other way, either way, and we're going to score at 4 1/4. And this is going to go up to the 2 1/2 mark, because we're going like to the center of the card. Then we're going to lay it flat again, and we're going to put our card in at 2 1/2. We're going to lay our cutting blade down at 7 1/2, because that's the 1-inch mark where our first score mark is. And we're going to score all the way up to the 2-inch mark, or all the way down, however you put it in. But we're going to score between all of those score lines. And I just say we're going to score, we're going to cut. We're going to cut between all of those score lines. And now our card is like ready. So we're going to fold. We're going to have a mountain fold, and a valley fold, and a mountain fold, and a valley fold. Then the one on this side is going to be a mountain fold. And then now we have all of our lines done. Let's go ahead and burnish on those lines. And that'll help keep it a little bit tighter so that it stands up. Now we're going to take our card, and we're going to cut it off at cut the white part off where the sky part starts, so right in half. I've got a Night of Navy piece that I thought I cut down before I came over, but I didn't. Or I grabbed the wrong piece. So we need to cut this to be, this is 2.5 inches across here. Across here, 2.5, because this part was, we cut at 3. So this leaves us 2.5. So we want to cut our paper down to 2 3/8. I'm going just a smidge smaller than the opening, than the space. And it should be by 4 1/8 long. So we want to cut our card down. We're going to use this piece on the left side. So we want to cut that down to 2 1/2, 2 3/8, 2 1/4. But I'm going to cut it a little bit more than that because we've got room and I don't want to cut too close to my trees. So I cut that at just over 2 1/4, like 2 3/8. Now I'm going to turn it around and I'm going to trim it down to 2 1/4 so that I take a little bit off the other side. We're going to glue these two pieces together. Oh, actually, first I want to stamp on this. So we want to take our little dots. I don't exactly know if they're, I think they're snowflakes. They might just be little prints to make in the background. And I have Pool Party. You could use, I'm drawing a blank. Help me here. Balmy Blue. I just thought that that would be a little bit different color to kind of show some movement in the snow. I'm going to glue these two together. Again, I've got just a tiny little border on there. Oops, I got more than that. I didn't cut it off, did I? Okay, so we've got bloopers going on here. Let me pause for a second while I wipe the glue down. I'm going to wipe that glue off and trim it. All right, I trimmed it down to 4. Let's put our glue back on. I think my nozzle's clogging up inside. Doesn't want to come out. Got just a little smidge of a border around there. Then we're going to go ahead and glue that onto this left panel of our card. That same little smidge of a border we're going to leave. All right. Now I'm going to do a little panel on the front here. This was 1 inch, so I've cut my Night of Navy to 7/8 by, this was 3, so I'm down to 2 7/8. And then I got a white that is 3/4 by 2 1/4. And I'm just going to stamp Merry Christmas on that in Cherry Cobbler here. Get out another block. Put our Merry Christmas on there. We'll glue that onto the Night of Navy. And then we'll glue that onto the front panel. Little 1 inch panel down in front. Sometimes this glue likes to stick the second you put it down, so I'm not going to move that. All right, now we're going to build our layers. So we're going to take this panel here and we're going to cut it off right at this Christmas tree and this house piece here. Let me put my lid on. My glue. Turn it upside down so I got a straight edge to use. And I could have got a little bit closer, so trim that little edge off that we'll need off for the next layer. Okay, so then I'm just going to take my scissors and kind of round this out a little bit so that it's not quite so much of a hard line. And then we're going to take our, and then I got to do this one. So this is this layer. We got to do the same thing here. I'm going to cut this around a little bit so that it kind of matches up to the rounding of the corner there. Then this piece, it's just going to sit all the way down in there. So I'm going to go ahead and open this up. I'm going to put on this piece here, I'm going to put a little bit of glue. Glue our houses on there. Don't get them too far to this direction or they are not going to, the card won't want to close and stuff. All right, so that one's on there like that. Then we're going to take the rest of our card, this piece, and that's going to go in here. What I'm going to do is, you guys know I like to eyeball stuff, so I'm going to put it in here, stand it up, and you can see I just need to cut off a little smidgen of it. So I'm going to go ahead and just trim off a little bit so that it can fit down inside there. Down in here. And it's okay if you end up cutting off a little too much. You can always raise it up when you glue it down. But we're going to be in there and we're off the edge a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this off at 3 on the side that does not have the trees, because we want the trees on there. And so then now I'm just going to put some glue in this panel. And put this card right almost to the crease. You want it to be able to fold up, so you don't want it too tight in there to the crease. Oops, and I want it up a little bit so that it matches the top of the card. So there we go. And then we've got our leftover houses here. And I'm just going to put them in the center, and I'm going to put some dimensionals on the back, which it does not look like I brought over, so I'm going to use my big ones. And just put them randomly on there like this. And then I'm just going to kind of eyeball. If you put it all the way down, you might cut off some of the houses. So I'm going to go up a little bit, kind of center it in there. Oops, we want to trim this around here. So it's not a straight off piece. See if I can figure out if there's a spot on the tree that it matches that I could line it up with. And we're going to go right about there. And then we're just going to stick that down. We've got this tree we're going to put over here. So put another couple dimensionals on the back of that. forgot the footsteps on the other piece. We'll get those. Put this tree down on there, wherever you want. Get our footprints back out again for this card. Let me get a scrap piece of paper to put down here in case I stamp off. And I want them to kind of come from there and go up to this house. Not that they're going to look like that when we close it, because this is going to be kind of next to it. But at least when it's open, they might appear like it's a path up to the house. All right. And then we've got in our kit this month, they gave us the glitter sticklesy stuff. I don't know what they called it. And then I'm just going to come in here and follow I'm just going to do the garland that goes around the roof of these houses. You can get all technical if you want and do it around all the greenery. That's around the windows and stuff. I just did the door because that was an easy one. It was bigger. That was an easy one. I'm finding to hold the glittery stuff up a little bit off the paper when you put it on, so that it makes a nice solid steady stream and does not make blobs or smear if you hold it up a little bit off the paper. And then that, you got to let it dry, but that is our first card. And I'm going to set it over there so that it dries. I'll show you this one. And so that's what we got. And then it just stands up like that. You can go ahead and crease your folds again if you'd like. Really good. And then that might help it stay tighter together when you close it. But I kind of like it opening up a little bit to give the whole view of what's going on in there. But there's our first card from this kit.